असतो मा गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय.
सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्वी आवधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Good afternoon. Rain trouble. Online students, our offline students are jealous of you. So much of trouble. Particularly those who drive two-wheelers, they have to be extra cautious. Roads are very slippery, this road in particular, because bridge construction is underway. You have to drive slow and carefully. Yeah, please see page number 98. India, our motherland. If there is any land on this earth that can lay claim to be the blessed Punya Bhumi, to be the land to which soul on this earth must come to account for karma, the land to which every soul that is wending its way Godward must come to attain its last form, the land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, above all, the land of introspection and spirituality, it is India. So what is India? Swami is trying to define for us. You know, Vivekananda was a great patriot. So if you ask me, in the last 200 years, we have not seen a patriot of his level. He loved India so much because he understood the civilization. Once one of his Western disciples asked him, Swamiji, you have given so much to us. You have enlightened us with your spiritual wisdom. What we can give us in return to you? And then Swamiji said, Madam, love India. If you want to give any gift to me, if you feel that you are indebted to me, do this favor to me. What is that? Love India, he said. Sister Nivedita writes about Swami Vivekananda and his patriotism. India throbbed in his heart. India pulsated in his veins. India was his daydream. India was his nightmare. He himself became India. She wrote, a Western disciple wrote about Vivekananda and his patriotism. Yeah, why Swamiji liked and loved India so much? He says, Swamiji is saying, this is the Punya Bhumi. Why it's Punya Bhumi and how it is Punya Bhumi? We know India is also known as Veda Bhumi, Karma Bhumi, Arsha Bhumi, Dharma Bhumi. What it all means? So the soul on this earth must come to account for karma. All other lands are Bhoga Bhumis. They don't relish yoga as much as we relish. Yoga, I don't mean the physical yoga, hatha yoga kind of yoga that we are understand. Yoga really means to connect oneself with the divine, to connect oneself with the absolute. We are the relative, we are the finite. So the finite must get united to the infinite. That is the purpose of yoga, to connect oneself with the absolute and the divine. In fact, Swamiji gives a definition for morality. He says morality. What is morality? Strengthening the subject by tuning it to the absolute so that the finite nature ceases to have any control over us. Today we are absolute slaves of our mind. We don't have any control over us. It's mind which dominates us. So subtle thought is so subtle. So we are struggling to get control over our mind because thought is very subtle, it doesn't yield that quickly. But when you attach it to the absolute, because thought is inferior to spirit, when you attach it to the spirit, the infinite, the Lord, and it will come under control. And by attaining that kind of control, you conquer nature. Nature means mind, prakriti, we say in Sanskrit. When you transcend prakriti of the mind, you are in nirvana, you are in superconscious state. When you attain that state, all our problems are ceased forever. You have attained eternal peace and immortality for good. That's the absolute highest goal, and we are all actually moving towards that only. Vast majority of population unconsciously, a minuscule minority consciously struggling towards the goal. That's what spirituality is all about. And Swami said, so all other lands are basically Bhoga Bhumis, lands of enjoyment. After actually exhausting enjoyment, finishing enjoyment, the soul actually for yoga, for final merger with God, takes birth here on the soil of India. That's why it is Karma Bhumi and Punya Bhumi, God body. The land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, and above all, the land of introspection and spirituality, that is India. So, being the citizens of this country, you must know the greatness of our own civilization, greatness of our motherland. I suggest you a book of Swami Vivekananda, Lectures from Colombo to Almora. You purchase that book, you try to read that book, as many lectures of Vivekananda as possible, you will understand the glory of your motherland. So it's very important because it gives you tremendous confidence and tremendous pride. And when you emigrate to other countries, if they ask you what is your civilization, what your country stands for, you should have something to share with them, right? So Indian diaspora, today is a huge diaspora across the globe. But they were all not so empowered with the spiritual thought. Not many know the Indian civilization itself because our education system is like that. Anything that is spiritual, anything that is connected to, you know, non-mundane, they removed it. Diligently, they removed it for the last 70 years. That's what happened. Now, and of course, now they are doing some course correction and new education. So the damage has already happened. So leave that as it may. But you, by reading that one book of Vivekananda, Lectures from Colombo to Almora, when you come to the mud, when you enter the mud through the second gate towards your right, left, you find one bookstall. Okay, if possible, now and then try to peep into that bookstall. మీ పవిత్ర పాదాన్ని అక్కడ మోపి ఆ బుక్ స్టాల్ కాస్త పవిత్రం చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేయండి. పోనీ ఆఫ్టర్ ద క్లాస్ వెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టైమ్ యూ జస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఇన్ టు ద బుక్ స్టాల్. డోంట్ పర్చేస్ ఎనీ బుక్, యూ జస్ట్ గో త్రూ ద బుక్ స్టాల్ వన్స్ అండ్ సీ ద టైటిల్స్ ఓవర్ దేర్. It will give you an understanding about this civilization. Okay, inside what content is there, you know, may not be knowing, but just go through the titles and just you'll have an idea what this civilization is. This is a special book stall. These kinds of titles are not available everywhere. Outside, you won't get it. You might not have heard some of the books names like Yoga Vashishta, Brahma Sutras, right? The Yoga Vashishta is a conversation between Rama and Vashishta. In my opinion, that is the highest book and the greatest book that has ever been written under the sun. Okay, it's a conversation between two jnanis, and it begins, it reads like a fiction, but it's not fiction, it's absolute reality. It just reads like fiction, but it's not fiction. It's not Harry Potter kind of thing. But they're talking about the absolute reality, how the universe has come into existence, how we are connected with the Creator, what is mind. If you have these questions, that book actually will provide you great answers and great insights. So you may not read the books, but just at least have a glance of the titles over there. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.